Imagine you're standing on a sheet of ice, miles from anything. You're in the Antarctic Ocean, the most isolated place on Earth. You peer over the edge, into the water, and wish you hadn't. Below your feet, something strange is happening. Evolution has gone completely off the rails. You see what looks like a spider, but it's the size of a golden retriever, crawling slowly across the seafloor. A jellyfish drifts past, its tentacles trailing for what seems like an eternity, longer than a bus, longer even than a blue whale. Even the fish that look vaguely familiar are wrong. They're freakishly oversized, like something from a forgotten nightmare. This isn't science fiction. This is the real life, frozen kingdom of polar gigantism. Let's start with the king of this bizarre realm, the colossal squid. Now, you've probably heard of the giant squid, a legendary creature of the deep, but the colossal squid is a different beast entirely. It's not just long. It's built like a heavyweight boxer. While the giant squid is long and slender, a colossal squid is shorter but far heavier, with a massive, muscular body. It's the heaviest invertebrate on the planet. This isn't your typical deep-sea gigantism, where pressure plays the main role. This is cold-sea gigantism, and the secret ingredient is oxygen. In the near-freezing water of the Southern Ocean, oxygen dissolves much more as the water is saturated with it, creating a hyper-oxygenated environment. For cold-blooded creatures, whose metabolism is already slowed by the cold, this is like an all-you-can-eat buffet of life-giving gas. When the supply of oxygen is practically unlimited, the biological brakes on size can start to come off. Millions of years ago, the ancestors of the colossal squid were small, transparent creatures called glass squids. But in the superoxygenated Antarctic, they started to bulk up. Generation after generation, they grew larger, stronger, and more formidable. They traded their transparency for a deep, blood-red color, perfect camouflage for the dark, red-lit depths where they hunt. They became stealthy, ambush predators of the abyss. Today, the colossal squid has only one known natural predator, the mighty sperm whale. For everything else in its domain, an encounter is a death sentence. It's armed with more than just suckers. On two of its longest tentacles, it has a set of swiveling, three-pointed hooks. These aren't just for grabbing. They rotate, digging deep into flesh and shredding whatever they catch. And at the center of this vortex of tentacles is a beak, powerful enough to slice through the bones of the large fish it preys on. It's a perfectly evolved killing machine, a true titan born from the cold. Now, let's shrink our focus a bit, but not by much. Picture a sea spider. If you've ever seen one in a tide pool, it's a delicate little thing, barely the size of your fingernail. They're harmless and almost invisible. But in Antarctica, they are anything but. Down on the seafloor, Antarctic sea spiders can have a leg span of over 2 feet. Imagine that, a spindly creature as wide as a dinner table, walking on stilt-like legs across the ocean floor. Their secret is the same as the squids: oxygen. But sea spiders take it a step further. They don't have gills or lungs. They breathe through their legs. Their long, porous limbs act like massive surfaces for gas exchange, soaking up the abundant oxygen directly from the frigid water. The cold slows their metabolism down so much that this simple method is enough to power their enormous bodies. They move with an unnerving, slow-motion grace, stepping delicately over ancient corals and sponges, but don't let their slow pace fool you. They are relentless predators. They use a long proboscis to pierce the tough skin of starfish and sea urchins, injecting digestive enzymes and sucking out their insides like a smoothie. Speaking of starfish, the arms race in Antarctica is very literal. In warmer waters, we think of starfish as having 5 arms, but in the Southern Ocean, that's just a starting point. Here, starfish are voracious, dominant predators, and more arms mean more power. We find species with 10, 20, even 50 arms, turning them into crawling, multi-limbed monstrosities. They are brutal hunters, crawling over the seafloor and devouring clams, sponges, and even other starfish. Anything they can get their many arms on is fair game. The cold, stable environment allows them to live incredibly long lives, too. Some Antarctic starfish can live for over 40 years. They're warm water cousins. They're lucky to see. 5. And then there's the animal that holds the title for the longest creature on Earth. It's not the blue whale. It's a jellyfish, the lion's mane jellyfish, to be exact. While its bell can be massive, it's the tentacles that are truly record-breaking. They can stretch out to 120 feet or more. That's longer than 2 school buses parked end to. It drifts through the water like a living net, a silent curtain of stinging cells, capturing anything unfortunate enough to swim into its path. Why does it get so big here? Again, it's the cold, the slow metabolism, the abundant food, and the sheer amount of available oxygen allow evolution to push the boundaries of what is possible for a seemingly simple life form. But here's a twist in the story. The cold doesn't make everything bigger. In this extreme environment, survival is a complex game, and sometimes the best strategy is to shrink. Some Antarctic fish have gone in the complete opposite direction, evolving to be smaller than their relatives elsewhere. This is called polar dwarfism. For these species, a smaller body and a faster life cycle can be an advantage. When food is scarce during the long, dark winter, a smaller body needs less energy to survive. They grow up fast, reproduce quickly, and die young. Alive fast, die young strategy that ensures their genes are passed on in a world of boom and bust. And here's perhaps the most mind-bending part of this whole story. In the Antarctic, evolution itself seems to be frozen. The rate of evolutionary change is incredibly slow. The constant cold acts like a preservative, not just for individual animals, but for entire species. Some creatures crawling on the Antarctic seafloor haven't significantly changed in millions of years. They are true living fossils, snapshots from a bygone era of Earth's history, perfectly adapted to a world that has remained stable and unchanged for eons. But that stability is now under threat. This frozen world, which created these giants, is fragile. As our planet warms, the oceans are warming with it, and the Southern Ocean is no exception. As the water temperature rises, its ability to hold dissolved oxygen plummets. For the giants of the Antarctic, this is a catastrophe. Their entire biology, their massive bodies and slow metabolisms, are built on the assumption of unlimited oxygen. A gigantic body suddenly becomes a liability, not an asset. It's a huge, inefficient engine that is suddenly running out of fuel. The early signs are already here. Scientists are observing that sea spiders in warming Antarctic waters are getting smaller. The colossal squid, with its immense energy demands, may struggle to survive, potentially vanishing before we ever truly understand it. These incredible monsters of the cold were built for stability, not for rapid change. The very conditions that allowed them to become giants also lock them into a world that is now disappearing. If the cold goes, the oxygen goes. And if the oxygen goes, the giants will fall. The phenomenon of polar gigantism isn't just a biological curiosity. It's a stark and beautiful warning, written in the bodies of these magnificent creatures. Freeze the ocean, and life can become massive and ancient. Warm it up, and the titans of the cold may be the first to disappear forever. Thanks for watching. If you found this journey into the bizarre world of Antarctic giants fascinating, do you want to forget to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into the wonders and mysteries of our planet. See you next time.